Yeah, we can see your screen.
Sorry, am I audible, guys? Can you guys hear me? Hello, Sabir Mukesh, quick check.
Yes, you are audible, and we can
Okay,
also see your screen.
the screen is visible, right? Okay, amazing,
Yes.
great. Okay, so guys, I've tried to build a small presentation for today. We'll quickly talk about the OSI model, and then we'll take questions as we leave. Right. So I want to quickly start talking about internetworking models because these models are actually fundamental to anyone who's trying to enter the networking world, anyone who's trying to understand how computer networking works and how machines interact with each other. Right. So with this slide, I'm going to basically try to answer four fundamental questions on what are internetworking models, why do we need it, when was it built, and how things are done. Right. So the open systems interconnection model, or the OSI model, right? It's a conceptual framework that is used to understand and implement networking protocols. Okay. I want to stress on the point that this model that has been developed, it's a referential model. When I say a referential model, it only serves as a reference tool to understand data communications between computers. Because of this reference model, we are basically able to visualize the process of data, of how it is transferred from one system to the other. It also helps in easy troubleshooting and designing networks. The OSI model is hierarchical in nature. It has a hierarchical architecture, meaning it follows a layered format, and one layer is responsible to send data to the other. It also takes care of data coming from the top layers and going to the below layer, right? So it has been built in a hierarchical format. Uh, because of this, complex processes are divided, and it becomes more manageable. That being said, I want to sum it up by saying that it's a standard framework. So it allows for different networking hardware and softwares to communicate effectively with each other. And because of the standardization, different manufacturers from different hardwares and softwares can communicate with each other together. Okay. Now, who created the OSI model? The OSI model was created by someone called the ISO, which is the International Organization for Standardization. So, guys, this is a worldwide federation of standard bodies from various countries. Along with networking, this body also does standardization across multiple industries. When was this done? So somewhere around 1970, this model was conceptualized, where there was a growing need for different computer systems to communicate with each other. There was a seamless communication that was required, and a solution was really required, right, on how systems communicate with each other. Now, the final question is, why was the OSI required? Right. So during the time of the 1970s, there were two companies. One was DEC, Digital Equipment Corporation, and IBM. Both of these companies had their own proprietary networking stacks. So DEC had DECnet, and IBM had its SNA, called the Systems Network Architecture. And then anyone who bought DEC devices, they had to stick to the DEC framework, DECnet. And then anyone who brought IBM had to be vendor specific. Intercommunication between vendors was not required, and this was a primary reason why ISO stepped in to form the OSI model. Okay. Great. With that being said, I'll move on to the actual OSI model. right? Now we'll try to understand why the OSI model is needed, um, and what is the exact use, right? Okay, so the open systems interconnection model, this is a logical only model. Okay, I want to repeat this because this needs to fit into your head that this is not a physical chopping of how things are done. It is a logical representation of things, meaning it's only a theoretical model. Okay, we'll quickly jump into the benefits of the OSI model. So if we talk about the benefits, the OSI model provides segmentation, which means division. Division of what? Division of responsibilities in different 7 layers. Okay, so because of this segmentation and division, it basically helps to isolate issues at every specific layer, which helps you identify problems and resolve problems faster. Okay, standardization. So by providing a standard 7 layered format, it also provides a canvas for different manufacturers to work together. Because of this, I think complexities are reduced and then the costs are also reduced. The last point is interoperability, which we just spoke about. So, because of the OSI model, I think most of the data centers, most of the communication models are vendor agnostic, which means it doesn't matter what vendor devices are available, you can readily communicate with them, right? So it promotes interoperability, which is absolutely needed during these times. Now, we'll talk about the approach that the OSI model has taken. So, the OSI model usually has 7 layers. We all know that. These seven layers, if you look at it, they're basically chopped into two sections. Again, this is a logical chopping where the top 3 layers, the application presentation and the session layer, they are called the application communication layer, where the applications
Sabir,
actually.
sorry for interruption. Your slides are not moving.
Sorry, Sabir.
Your slides are not moving. We are seeing only first slide.
Hey, I am basically on slide number 2, Sabir.
We are seeing only first slide.
Okay,
Right, guys? CCNA August. Yeah. Now it's better.
Yeah,
Third slide.
now we can see.
Yeah.
is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. We are seeing second slide now.
Okay, I think I probably need to share my window. I've only shared one screen. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on. I'll share my whole screen. Maybe that will make things better. You should be able to see the entire screen now, guys. Please let me know when you're able to see it.
Yeah, we can see now.
Okay.
OSM. Yeah.
All right. So I think this is the slide that I was talking about, basically. And we are on the layering part of it, right? So it is layered it has 7 layers, and then logically it is chopped into two sections. If you talk about it, the top 3 sections, they take care of the application communication, and the lower 3 sections, these are the sections that are actually responsible for the data transmission, right? So if we talk about the application presentation and the session layers, they kind of the facilitators between the software applications. So just to take an example, when you send an email, the applications at layer 7, right, they use protocols like SMTP. They'll use the presentation and session layer to format your data and send it across. While the actual data transmission is done by the lower 4 layers, the transport, network, data link, and the physical layers. We'll talk about most of these layers as we proceed in the further slides. I'd like to point out to a small mnemonic that's written there. So all people seem to need data processing, right? That's the mnemonic that's usually used to remember these 7 layers. So you guys can take this mnemonic, or if you have any mnemonic that works for you, well and fine. But make sure you remember all of this. This is usually asked in interview questions. This may pop up as a question in the exams as well, right? So it's always beneficial to remember. I will move on to the next slide, guys, where we'll dig just a bit deeper into each of the layers. We'll go into the summary part. We'll take a few examples, and then we'll take any questions that you have. So layer 7, the layer 7 is the application layer, right? We'll quickly talk about the purpose and the events that happen at the application layer, right? So the primary purpose of the application layer is to serve as an interface for user applications. So just to take you a step back, guys, when we talk about the application layer, we are not talking about the actual application. Okay, so the application layer gets invoked when any application needs the underlying network to communicate to its peer on the other side. Okay, so if we take an example, if we talk about an email that you want to send, so the Outlook that's available on your desktop, it lies at the application layer, but it would use the application layer or invoke the application layer when you actually want to send an email, or when you hit send, when you compose an email and hit send, right? So it's an application interface between the user and the application. So it also identifies the resource availability, and it synchronizes communication between different applications. Now, if we talk about the major events that usually take at the application layer, file transfer. So if you guys have used FTP or have heard about FTP, right, it operates at the application layer, where it is used to manage file transfers from one device to the other. Okay, emails, we just spoke about Outlook, right? So when you're using email, protocols like SMTP, IMAP, or POP3 might come into picture, and this is what facilitates email communication. And general client server processes, say for example HTTP or HTTPS, all of these occur at the application layer. Okay, I will move on to the next slide, guys, which is talking about the next layer, which is the presentation layer. Okay. We'll quickly cover the purpose and function of the presentation layer. Now, if you look at it, I've written, can you understand me, right? So the presentation layer actually ensures that whatever data is sent is understood by the other party. Okay, so I've tried to bold that statement here, just so that you guys remember that the presentation layer is something that tells the other party what to understand and how to understand. Right. So the main purpose of the presentation layer here is to ensure that the data that is sent from the sender's application is understood by the receiver's application. Okay. So this layer is also called a translator by some people, where it is usually used to translate data from different formats into a common format that can be utilized by the other parties, by each of the parties. Now, if we talk about the translation services that are available, so usually I've just given a few examples like ASCII, JPG, and MP3. So, say for example, we'll take the example of the JPG file, right? So, if you guys have image files, what the presentation layer does here is it handles the encoding and decoding of the image formats, right? It ensures that the image saved on in one format is actually displayed properly when it is opened on the other device. Okay. Similarly for MP3 files, right? It makes sure that the encoding and decoding is proper so that you're able to hear the playback accurately. Along with acting as a translator, this layer is also important for two important functions: compression and encryption, in case these functions are invoked or utilized by the application. Right. So compression is basically data compression. It is a process where the actual size of data is reduced to save storage space or bandwidth. Right. So that happens at the presentation layer. If both the applications are using compression, if they have agreed to use compression. The second point is encryption. Encryption is a process where data is converted into a secure format that can only be read by someone who is authorized. Okay, so the presentation layer is responsible for encrypting at the source end. So, say for example, you're sending an encrypted file from your machine to a friend named Rahul. Okay, the presentation layer would take care of encrypting the data on your end, and then also decrypting the data on Rahul's machine, right? So it takes care of those functionalities up here. I'll move on to the next slide, guys. So this slide talks about layer 5, which is the session layer. Okay, so the session layer is actually the session manager. So I've tried to highlight important words that can help you remember what each of the layers does. While I'm on session layer, I just want to do a quick check that I'm still audible, guys, and that you guys are able to understand what I'm saying. Sabir, Mukesh, just a quick ping to see if I'm still audible, if you guys are able to see my screen.
Yeah, yeah, we can see your screen. Audible.
Wonderful. Okay, I just took a sip of water and we'll continue. So the session layer is basically your session manager for the OSI model. So the main purpose of the session layer is basically to establish the connection, manage the connection, and also to tear down the connection. Okay, these are very important tasks that the session layer performs. So usually, whenever two devices want to communicate, the session layer is the one that sets up the connection or establishes the connection. Okay, after the session is set up, managing the connection, making sure and keeping track of who's talking to whom, what data needs to communicate to what is done by the session layer. And after the session is ended, the tear down or the breakdown of the session is done gracefully by the session layer. Okay, so it's like a session manager who's making sure that end-to-end sessions are managed properly, so they're set up, managed, and toned down appropriately. Okay. Session segregation is a point that I've written here. So if we talk about the session layer managing the sessions, if you look at it, the session manager has a lot of work to do, right? So it keeps different sessions separate from each other. So we'll take an example of this of a conference call that's ongoing where multiple participants are speaking at once. So here, what the session layer would do is it would help manage each participant's audio and video stream separately to ensure that the communication does not mix up that way. Just trying to give an example up here. Okay. Quickly, I'd like to cover the three types of communications that are managed by the session layer. So most of you might already have heard these terms: simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. So simplex is basically a communication mode in which data flows only in one direction. It is like a one-way street that you have. Okay. Half duplex is basically a communication again where data flows in both directions, but only one direction at a time, right? So this is like a walkie-talkie where only one person can talk at a time, and then after the communication has been received, the other person sends the communication from the other side. Full duplex is something that network engineers love, in which data flows bidirectionally simultaneously. It's like a two-way street. Okay. So I think quickly, key takeaways for the session layer: it is essential for managing and controlling communication sessions between the devices, guys. I'll move on to the next one. So the next layer is layer 4, which is where the actual data transmission starts happening. This is the transport layer. Okay. So at the transport layer, please understand that data is actually beginning to get framed, beginning to start chopped. And here, when the data is actually received by the transport layer, and when it's ready for transmission, it is called as a segment. Okay, so we'll see these terms as we proceed during the presentation. So segments is the data PDU or the protocol data unit at the transport layer. Beyond this, there's nothing, right? Beyond this, it is just called data up here. Excuse me. So if we talk about the purpose and function of the transport layer, so the transport layer ensures that data is transferred reliably between devices. Segmentation and reassembly, guys, this is a very important term and a very important function that is performed by the transport layer. So the transport layer is actually responsible to ensure that the data is transferred from one device to the other reliably and in a sequential manner. Okay. So how it does that is it does that by breaking down large data packets into segments again up here. Okay, so it breaks down data into smaller segments for easier transmission. So the data is broken down into segments at the source device, and then the same data is reassembled in order on the other side. So this process is called segmentation and reassembly, right? So breaking down of data and then making sure that the data is again reassembled in the same order on the other side. Data streaming is basically managing continuous flow of data between the devices, right? It ensures that data is delivered in the correct order. That's what data streaming usually means. Um, Now talking about transport layer is the layer where the service that is provided can be provided as a connectionless service or a connection-oriented service, right? So it gives you an option as a user that you can use a connectionless service or you can use a connection-oriented service. In this slide, I just want to dig in a step further, talking about UDP and TCP, and then how TCP quickly works, because it's really important. And then probably we can touch base on this in the other sessions, in the detailed transport layer sessions that we have. Okay, so if we talk about the connectionless service UDP, right? So UDP is basically UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. So UDP is like sending out a letter where you don't require any kind of a response, right? So what UDP does is it does not establish a connection before sending the data. It also does not check if data was received correctly or not, right? But UDP is very fast, right? So UDP provides less reliability, but it's very fast. And you guys will be surprised that there are services in the TCP IP protocol stack that still use UDP in spite of it being unreliable. Okay, we won't talk about those things right now, but then just trying to give you a gist of how the UDP works, and that connectionless service is also an option that can be utilized. We'll quickly talk about TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, which is the connection-oriented service. Okay, so what TCP does is it ensures that all data is received accurately and in the correct order. So TCP is reliable, but TCP can sometimes slow down data transmission. Okay, so it depends on what you want. Do you want reliability, or do you want speed, right? So it's always a bargain up there on that front, and then you can decide which service to use. Now, how TCP works is basically it uses a reliable three-way handshake. So there are three packets that usually go: the SYN, and the ACK packet, which is basically creating a handshake, making sure that the other party understands who you are. There are session items discussed between both of them, and only after the session is established, data is sent out. So that way, it is really reliable. UDP does not do that.
Salim, by 1 minute here, I would like to hold off for 2 minutes here. So I see very less participants here, only three. Amit, Rahul, Nandakumar, and Sushant. So, guys, do you have any question here? Because here we want to have interactive session. Don't think that we are freshers and we are learning first time. Okay. So, do you have anything, guys? Rahul or Nandakumar? Yeah.
Okay.
Because let's have interactive session instead of just we are explaining and you guys are listening. So if you want to build really career in networking world, so your basics should be must be clear. Okay. If you are really looking for building your career, so within 1 or 2 months, it's not possible. For you guys, you have to work really hard, and we are here to help you if you are open to talk about.
Yeah. So I think probably, Sabir, I made a statement earlier that I will take questions later during the session. But guys, yeah, we can keep it open. I
Mm.
acknowledge and agree with what Sabir is saying. Probably if you have any questions, we can take it at any
No,
time.
because problem here is I'm seeing very less participants. So just if instead of having something, they might be assuming something as a theoretical session. But let's have something interactive here, and then let's talk about. Let's listen to them, and then let's talk about based on their interest. So, guys,
Yes.
if you are on mute and if you are not talking, then it's not going to be an interactive session, and just we are completing our formality. Amit, Sushant, you guys joined. I appreciate you gave time and you shown your interest by joining. So I would like to hear something from you guys. Anything, Nandakumar, Rahul? Don't fear or don't hesitate. Just open up and speak. If you want to speak in Hindi, that is also fine.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, guys, my mode of delivery might be majorly English. I do a mix of Hindi and English as well. But I talk Hindi, I talk Marathi as well. So anything that you guys are comfortable with in any of the three languages.
I want Rahul to unmute himself and then speak something. Rahul and Nandakumar, if you really guys want to hear something. Yeah, Rahul.
Yes, Salim.
Yeah, please go ahead and speak. Don't hesitate.
It is also fine, guys, if there are no questions. But I think we want to encourage you guys to ask questions, right? Because I might be explaining you guys with the pace. If you think the pace is fast, I can slow down. If you think something is not understood, we can recircle back on those topics as well. Okay.
Yeah, Mukesh, you are also there, right? Mukesh?
Okay. I've just stopped sharing for a moment. Uh,
Yeah, Salim, actually better to stop sharing and then let's talk to them and then we'll discuss something interactively. Okay, so here these guys are not opening up and even they are not unmuting themselves. So how come you guys will take something from us?
yeah, guys. So I've switched on my camera. We can take any questions if you have, guys.
Okay, hi, all of you.
Yeah, hi
This is
Sushant.
Sushant. Yes, Sushant from Odisha. Actually, I have one question. That is, what exactly doing the transport layer?
What is the transport layer exactly doing,
Yes,
Sushant?
yes, yes.
Okay. So,
On on security basic, actually, I faced one interview, and they're asking, ki, what is doing transport layer exactly?
okay, okay. And what was your answer, Sushant? If I may ask you. So I'll give you the answer up here.
Mhm.
So let me go ahead. Right. If we talk about the
So
transport layer,
I read from the internet. So is it correct or not? Can you? I just share my knowledge here. Just tell me is it right or wrong?
okay. Do you want to give the answer, Sushant, or do you
Yes,
want?
yes,
Go
yes,
ahead. Go
yes.
ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Actually, the transport layer is doing the segmentation and the flow control and the error control. Is it right?
So segmentation and flow control, yes, that's right. I think
Mhm.
what the transport layer basically has been designed is so if you look at the layers, right, and if you try to visualize, all the data first comes to the transport layer. The transport layer would then start chopping the data, right? Once it starts chopping the data, there is an option that the user has, right? So what it can do, they can use TCP, which is reliably transporting the data, or they can use UDP, which is unreliable transfer, right? So
Right.
segmentation, yes, that is done at the transport layer. So I think transport layer is basically responsible for reliable delivery of data, reliable
Right.
delivery of data that comes in.
Right.
Sushanta, what were the other 2 points that you said?
The flow control,
Flow control, yes, yes, it does that.
error control,
Sorry, what is that?
error
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 control.
control, error
Okay.
control.
Error control. Could be, Sushant. So we can probably dig into that deeper later on. But I think flow control, yes, that is done by TCP using the windowing, right? So TCP, I was just so if you look at my slide that I share, I was just coming to windowing that TCP does, right? Which is basically trying to ensure that the flow is in control. Meaning, if I'm talking to you, and if I talk very fast, right, there might be some data that you receive or some data that you don't receive, right? So what TCP does is it ensures that the speaking speed that I have matches with the hearing and understanding speed that you have.
Right, right. You are tell about key. Sorry, you are telling key that difference between TCP and UDP.
No,
But
I'm talking about flow control.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So I'm talking about flow control. And if you talk about error control, TCP also has an acknowledgement mechanism, Sushant, right?
Yes,
Where what
yes,
it does is every segment that is sent, it has a sequence number. So sequence number and acknowledgement, that is the function that is used by the transport layer, or basically just TCP, right? To ensure that the errors don't happen and every packet is delivered successfully.
right.
I hope that answers.
Actually, in transport layer, there is two protocol is working. Right. One is TCP, one is UDP.
That's correct.
Right. So if I suppose we the application take the UTP, the UDP, then might be there is not flow control or error control is not there, or not reliability is not there, right? If you are the application using the TCP, then there must be available the error control and flow control, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So I didn't understand key transport layer exactly doing what is doing. Means if you are this is the regarding of protocol.
Hmm.
What protocol we are the application choose, accordingly the layer is working, right?
That's right.
So what is transport layer doing?
So,
Just a,
yeah.
a
So
little
transport.
bit. Yes, yes. Yes,
Okay,
tell me.
Salim, I would like to answer here
Yeah.
something.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Sabir. Yeah.
Okay, so Sushant, your basic question is what transport layer is doing. Okay,
Right,
so what
right,
happened? The OSI layer, they came up with concept of 7 layers. Okay, so they also
right,
told that we need someone a good transportation mechanism which will work fine.
right, right.
So there were multiple protocols which came in, but the TCP and UDP got elected because they were having awesome transfer mechanism.
Right,
Okay, and
right.
actually, so you heard about IEEE.
I
Okay, and
triple
Dot
E.
module. So Dot module came into picture and they told that yeah, we have one mechanism which will transfer your data reliably and unreliably. So we told what kind of protocol you have. So they told we have one TCP and one UDP. You can use it in your transport layer. And this is nothing but a routed protocol. There are two types of protocol. One is routing protocol, which will learn and talk to each other, and another is a routed protocol, which doesn't have the capability to talk to each other, but they are dependent on the routing thing. Okay, so under transport layer, the dot modules TCP UDP got elected. If you move further to network layer, then Apple and Netware, Novell, all those guys came up with addressing. Okay, so then we found that the numerical values which are provided by IP, those are very friendly. Then we opted that IP. So that the reason it became TCP IP, right? And that is provided by Defense of Department of Defense US DoD module. Got it?
No, no, I understood. I understood your point. Ki whenever the picture is coming, ki what protocol we are using, so accordingly our packet traveling. Suppose you are using UDP, then there is no there is no confirmation ki how many data are client received, right?
Yeah,
If you are suppose we are when the application is taking the TCP protocol, then
mhm,
there is must be acknowledged key all those data has received the client,
correct.
right? So depend on protocol, but what does doing the transport layer?
See,
So
under transport layer, these two protocols are coming. Okay, if you say if you the good example is if you are having something in box, okay, the box contains something, right? So that is the TCP IP. So transport layer contains something. So that is nothing but TCP and UDP. Yes, Salim, you want to address?
yeah. So Sushant, I would like to take Sabir's answer a bit further, right? So I kind of understand where you're coming from. Okay, and we'll try to understand the fundamental question: what is the transport layer doing up here?
Yes, yes.
So the transport layer is only responsible for transmission of data between two devices.
Okay,
Okay. Now,
okay,
how it does that is basically it receives information from the top layer. Okay,
right,
who's the top layer? Okay, it is the application. Okay, and
right,
it is the application that decides will it go reliably or will it go unreliably. Okay,
okay,
so the transmission mechanism is just telling, okay, what channel do you want to use? Do you want to use the reliable channel or unreliable channel? These are the two channels that I have. Once I get the data and once I have the information from you, I will use that specific channel and send it to wherever you want. We'll take the example of HTTP. HTTP uses TCP. So whenever you click on your web browser, what the web browser as an application is doing, it is telling the transport layer, okay, transport layer, you need to use TCP port number 80 or 443, depending on what protocol you're using, and communicate with the other device or communicate with the web server, right? So transport layer is basically giving you that channel to the application, right? So it is kind of doing a pinhole in your networking stack where it says, okay, the web browser needs to communicate to the web server. We'll give it port number 80 and we'll use TCP for communication. So it's a channel for communication, Sushanta.
Yes,
Is that making things clearer for you by any chance?
yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
And
nice.
one more thing, Sushant.
Yes.
Actually, why TCP UDP came into picture? Because they are good in nature. Okay, like transport. When you compare our transport layer, transport mechanism, which we are taking from moving from one location to another location. So there are multiple ways: airways, roadways, or the seaways, right?
Right, right.
So what we have opted the one which is very really good and in budget for us, then that will be opted, right? So same thing is opted by OSI that yeah, let's go and write a code, write a frame, you adopt a framework where TCP and UDP is opted. So
In case you're telling ki budget according our budget, so
yeah.
might be there is no budget required because application decide ki the UDP and the TCP, right?
No,
Yes.
no,
You
that
have
example I'm giving just for understanding.
okay,
There is a no budget. We don't have to pay anything in network
Yeah,
mechanism.
it's
right,
just
right,
an
right,
example, Sushant.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
May I just know about ki when the application choose ki it will take the UDP and when the application choose the TCP.
So
When
it
So
they
was
required reliability or unreliability, they also choose the protocol.
correct,
yes.
correct. And then who defines this, Sushant?
It's
How
a
does so it is defined by the developer
appli-
of the application,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
That yes.
Mhm. And
That
if
is everything getting tied up from the application layer right to session presentation and then till the transport layer till now? Everything clear so far?
Right, right.
okay, so I would like to ask others to just open up and explain your
Actually,
query.
one more question. Actually, just before you tell key HTTPS and the TCP and UDP. So also TCP working on the protocol number. DNS also take the TCP UDP, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, DNS works on both, right?
Yes. HTTP also doing the TCP.
Correct.
So TCP also DNS is HTTP also a protocol.
It is.
It's a protocol, na?
Yes.
HTTPS.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
So TCP also a protocol.
Uh, okay, I get your question.
Right, right,
At the transport layer, Sushant, there are two protocols,
right,
TCP and UDP.
right.
TCP and UDP then have internal port number mappings. Okay, there is a transport protocol, guys. I don't want you to get confused, but I think it's a very good question, right? That Sushant is asking. So TCP is also protocol, HTTPS is also protocol. How is that? Okay, so you need to understand what layer you're talking about up here. Okay, so at the transport layer, we have two protocols, two major carriers, if you call it. One is TCP and UDP. They are called protocols. Okay, TCP and UDP again provide a lot of bandwidth to cater to multiple applications, and then each of these applications is given a port number, right? So if an application uses HTTP or HTTPS, right, it will then fall into TCP depending on what channel it chooses. So TCP and UDP are actually a suite of protocols. Tushan,
Right,
okay? So a suite basically means a collection of protocols that way.
right, right.
Okay.
So same time, I'd like to encourage others to ask questions. See, this session is really small for you guys, but what you can take something out from this session, right? So Rahul, Nandakumar, uh, Sushanta, Biswajit, do you guys have any question? I think Sushanta already asked, right? So if you ask, then we'll clear your concept here. At least you'll take something out from this session. Yeah. Hi, Jamil. Hi, Jamil.
I think Jamil is on mute. So guys, I think the only reason why Sabir is intervening here is just to ensure that you have questions. You need to have questions, and if there are questions, please ask. Right. So we are here to help you. Again, my psyche or my thought since the time I have started learning and even now is that no question is a silly question, right? So please ask. Right. Sabir and Mukesh, I'm just looking at the time. We are at the top of the hour actually. Do we want to continue with the session? What do you guys say?
I guess we are done. If I don't think so, others are unmuting themselves. Don't hesitate, guys. If you are new, if you are trying to build your career in IT and you have opted to go for networking, then feel free to unmute here. Then only you are going to speak and learn something. If you are not, then obviously we are almost done with our session. In next 5 minutes, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Yeah,
Sir,
Vishnu.
when will this actual course will start?
Sorry, Rahul, you are not audible. Can you come again?
When we will this start this actual course?
No, I still can't understand, Rahul. I'm really sorry. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
he
Just
he's saying that when we are going to start the course.
okay. I think
Yeah.
we'll begin next week, Saturdays. So, Mukesh, do you want to answer that? So, we are doing this on a Saturday Sunday basis, guys, and then today was
Yes.
just a demo session. We can begin anytime, immediately.
So actually, Rahul, what we are doing is first we have our base was to present you the demo. Once the demo, based on demo, you guys will interact with us, and yeah, you agree, and then you will enroll our course. After that, we'll have one more WhatsApp group for the confirmed students, and we'll decide the time based on your according to your convenience. Rahul, thanks for unmuting yourself, and it's good that you are. You can go ahead and ask any question related to your career in IT, how you can build your career in networking, if it's stable or not stable. It's all up to you. Feel free to ask, Rahul.
Yeah, no questions as of now.
Okay, anything, Nandakumar? So we have Jamal here. Hi, Jamal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can ask any question. Do you have any question?
Go. Right now, no, sir. I just joined.
No.
Okay.
Hi, Jamal.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah, Biswajit. Do you have any
Yeah,
question?
I want to ask. I am working as a network engineer in Ola. Since I am in new to networking field, when I started my networking career before 3 years only, I took one CCNA training, and still now I am struggling. And I did the CCNA more than 4 to 5 times. Till now, I am learning the new things. And I am only hands-on experience in limited device. If I am going for a change or I want to enhance my career to next level, they are asking like, do you have this particular experience? Then we can proceed further like that. And they are rejecting like Palo Alto or something in higher level. Like I am in level. Previously, I am in level one only, but I am promoted to level two network engineer. But it's not like I am hands on all the devices. And can we remember all the things of all the vendors and all the things? Basically, I am experienced in networking, wireless networking and wireless cloud maintenance.
Okay. Okay. So, I think Sushanta, it's a common question that usually is
And
given.
also, I have some doubt, like if we work in data center or work in ISP side or enterprise side, which one is better and how it is better?
Sure, sure. So,
I'd like to introduce.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Sabir.
Okay, let me share my screen. So you talk about career wise, then that is very really interesting question. Biswajit, right? Biswajit, first you have to
Yes.
validate what kind of knowledge you have. You have routing knowledge.
It's I can say it's very less. Means I know the theoretical part, but not hands-on experience in
Okay.
ASA router or any perimeter router.
Okay. So here problem is in the environment where you are working, that environment is limiting you to expand your career. Okay. So first thing you should know routing, you should know switching. Okay. So once you are done with this, then you also should know the firewalling. Okay. In any of flavor of firewall, any flavor of routing and switching. Okay. Already you have knowledge of wireless, right? So in
Yes, yes.
wireless, you are doing any configuration, or you are simply doing the what kind of wireless thing you are doing? Simply you are joining the laptop, or you are managing the access points.
I am doing that access point. Na, if any access point goes wrong, we have to reboot from the cloud. If any new project will come, we have to do the heat mapping and all the thing. I am actively participating in all the things, but if they are asking, can you do the report generation and all, I am telling yes, but lack of confidence is there. They are asking like to reset the firewall, to reset the switch, to reset the router, and how to add into the network. Like that, all the things I am doing means new project is coming and we are building a new
Okay.
uh, office site. Also, I am adding all the
Yeah.
access points, switch and router.
Yeah, so Biswajit, first thing, I don't think you have any lack in confidence. Okay, you are speaking well here, and your communication is also look good. Okay, the only where you are lacking is the understanding of the basics of networking. Might be I have not validated much. It's not. I'm not going to blame you, but the thing here is, if you are getting something hands and feet support kind of job, then you have to move away. Move away. You have to join any organization. So there are two types of organization. One is enterprise. Okay, another one is organization means environments. Okay, another one is data center. And my suggestion is don't go for telecom. Okay, if you go to telecom, then you will have something kind of different kind of environment, and very limited changes, and you will not listen TCP UDP things are there, because there anything is allowed. Okay, so better try to work in data centers, because all enterprise, wherever you are seeing big buildings and users are sitting there, those users are nothing but they are sitting there but connecting to data center and doing their job in data centers. Those who are working from home as well, they are simply hitting to the data centers only. So you'll have nice career in data center. So here the technology, the demand grows. You should know routing, you should know switching, you should know firewalling, wireless, and now you also should know the load balancing. Okay, once you knows about all these things, the new era comes in, and now you have to move towards software defined networking, SDN. So this has become legacy now. Okay, so in software defined networking, again, we are having routing, switching, firewalling, load balancing, but in software defined way. The best example here is your calculator. You are having hardware defined calculator, but now you are also having software defined calculator, which is there in your mobile. Okay, so now instead of preferring having a router, physical router or physical switch, now there are logical router and logical switches under the software defined networking. So you have to grow really fast, you have to opt technology really fast, you have to learn, and then you can go ahead and achieve your career. Okay, so my quick suggestion is, your current environment is not suitable for you, go ahead and upgrade yourself and then switch. Okay, any question, Biswajit?
Yes, sir. I want to share my CV if anyone can guide me for the next level, because I did because in our environment, who is my senior and who are working, they are not guiding properly. They are telling like you have to finish step by step. I am doing the step by step, but somehow I am lagging because
Have you
the
completed
concept.
any certification?
Uh, global certificate, I didn't complete anything. What
Okay.
I did
Here
training
problem
with
is you have not completed your global certification. So let's do one thing. Share me your email ID. I'll give you the current latest dumps. Go through those dumps and invest 50,000, and then 25,000 will be the fees, 20 or 28. Go ahead and write the exam. So you will boost up your confidence level. There are something 1200 questions. You go ahead and prepare those questions, and then go for global certification exam. Whenever you will go ahead and line up in your interview, then you will be chosen first. Okay, share
okay.
your email ID or email. I'll give the latest dumps.
Okay, in that I will share.
Yeah, on chat, give me. I'll share you.
Yes, 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 sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone is having question, guys? We are already done. Thanks, Sushant, for asking question. And yeah, we are done from our side. Anything, Salim?
No, Sabir, I think I'm good for now. So I think it was a good interactive session. Hopefully, whatever I spoke and tried to explain over the PPTs was taken well by the students. I'm hoping. And I hope to see you soon, guys. So I'm good, Sabir and Mukesh. Over to you guys.
So, how we are enroll this course?
Simply you have to give your acknowledgement on the group. Okay,
Hmm.
so then you will be added in the what you call new group for the confirmed students.
Okay.
And guys, I would like to say that we are very really well experienced guys, and we know the inside of everything: routing, switching, firewalling, load balancing, and we are working professionals. So learning from working professional is something a good thing instead of something you are learning it from the freshers or all those. So if
And
you are
one
really
meeting.
interested, then go ahead and give the acknowledgement.
What is the course fees you decided?
Course fees.
Course fees.
I think it's given in the group description. Let me check. It's managed by. You can see in group description. Course fees, and it's really budget fees. That is 8,500.
Okay. What will be covered here?
Whole CCNA syllabus. Okay.
Okay.
So generally, what happened? See, here we the duration is 35 days, 30 or 35 days. So
Okay.
here,
It's 35 days or 35 hours?
35 hours you can say, 30 to 35 hours.
Okay. Okay. Right. So you will be covered all those, routing, switching, all those, right?
Yeah, we are following the. We'll follow the Todd Lamley's book. Okay, we'll give that PDF to you. So based on that, we'll go ahead and cover it. And best part here will be your understanding will get clear. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So generally, in what I have seen in market within five to 6 days, the OSI layer will be completed. But if you learn OSI layer once, then in future you will not face any problem in while troubleshooting. And networking is something like that. But
Okay.
obviously, within this limit of time, you won't be able to learn many things. But if you want to learn many things, then we have to extend the time and course duration and fees as well. If you are really interested, this is something fast track in short.
Okay.
But based on the
So
students' interaction, we'll decide.
suppose we will be, enroll this course, and how will be do the lab?
See, for lab, you should have CCNA labs are not really that much of memory concern. Means that will not take much memory. So we have the packet tracer application, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the packet tracer application is enough to perform the CCNA practicals. If you are going for CCNP level, then EVNG is there.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if really you want to go for CCNP, CCI, or any software defined networking course, then we have labs available with us. But those are very heavy labs that requires 100 GB just to boot up. You can see, you can go to that cloudsnetworking.in. There you can see the software defined networking courses.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll put the link there. Any question, guys? So we can wrap it up quickly. Yeah, Biswajit, I'll give you the dumps, okay? Okay, Salim, we can go ahead and wind it up.
I was on mute. Yeah, I think we're almost at the top of the hour. So I am good for now. Thank you so much, guys. Biswajit, uh, Mirza, Jamal Beg, Sushanta, and Nandakumar for joining. I hope this session gave you some insight, a few details that you took from today, and I look forward to talking to you soon. So I think with this, let's close today's session, guys. Thank you for attending, and you have a nice weekend.
Okay, we just completed only transport layer, but
Yes.
the other three layer we are not discussing about.
So I think in the demo session, Sushanta, it was scheduled for 1 hour where I wanted to cover all the sessions. Probably because of the questions that we took, the time was used up. So I think in the sessions that are taken for the regular classes, that those will be covered in detail, Sushanta.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank
All
you
right.
guys. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.